Hey, it is Christy from Up the Windy Lane. Welcome back to my kitchen today. We seem to be doing a lot of that lately, but today I wanted to show you how I make magnesium oil, and we're also going to make magnesium lotion. So you're going to get 2 for 1 today. I'm actually just waiting for this to heat up. I'm actually going to just use my kettle to boil the water and going to use it that way, and I'm going to use the pan and a double boiler, and we're going to melt down some of the oils. So I'm excited to share this with you, so let's get started. I have everything measured out. This is the brand of Magnesium Chloride Flakes that I buy, and this was on Amazon, and it is almost close to a 2-pound bag. I think next time I'm going to buy a bigger bag because I see us using this quite a bit. Here is the ingredients for the lotion. So we're going to use shea butter, coconut oil, beeswax pastilles, pellets, whatever you want to call them, and magnesium flakes plus water. So we're going to make 2 things today. We're actually going to make the lotion first, and then while that is sitting for about 5 minutes or so, we're going to do these the spray, and then we'll have 2 products. My pot over here does not make too big of a mess. It's actually a smaller pot than what I normally use, but I wrote some things down because I didn't want to forget to tell you about some of the benefits and things. So with the spray, we're going to use equal parts of either boiled water, filtered water. I mean, you're going to boil it, but you want to use either filtered, distilled. If you use tap water, then you definitely want to boil it really good, not just get it hot. So you're going to use equal parts. So I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of magnesium flakes with a 1/2 cup of boiling water. I'm just going to mix those and until they dissolve, and then I'm going to let it cool and pour it in a spray bottle. That's it. It's super easy. Now, the magnesium lotion is a little bit more involved, but not too bad. So we're going to make that. This will be the first time me actually making the lotion. I made the spray before. I actually have this one here. Now the reason why, I'll tell you why I'm making another batch though so soon. So this is my magnesium spray, and it actually has lavender, geranium, vetiver, and cedarwood essential oils. So you have to shake this really good before you use it. But I've already used almost half the bottle, and I just made it not too long ago. The reason I'm having to make another batch is because I made a spray bottle for each of our girls, and if anybody has cycle issues, or maybe they have headaches, or maybe have trouble sleeping, there's lots of good things that magnesium is for. So we all seem to lack minerals now, and magnesium, one of the reasons why we might lack magnesium is our lifestyle. So we might have a lack of sleep, we might have excessive stress. It could be from alcohol, caffeine, sugar consumption. We all know the American diet is full of caffeine and sugar and processed foods, most people's. Our soil also contains less from over farming and high pesticide use. So a lot of that refined stuff that you buy or processed foods comes from food that has been over farmed, or that it has high pesticide use. And that's why growing your own food and buying organic, buying local, and like that is so very important. Water is boiling, so we're about ready to get going here, but I do have a few things that this actually will help. So it is supposed to help improve, of course, your magnesium levels. You're going to have possibly smoother skin. It's good for sore muscles, headaches, and migraines, like I mentioned earlier. It's even been shown to balance blood sugar levels. It also can lower your risk for blood pressure and hypertension, and can give you a more restful sleep. So I've even read that it's good for anxiety and such like that. So you can spray like 10 to 20 sprays on your arms, your legs. Your stomach is a really good spot to put it, on your feet. I use it on my underarms as well. It's actually a really good deodorant. I don't have any issues. I've been using that for a couple of weeks. Now, they say that it may tingle at first. Mine does a little bit, but then that goes away. But the reason I'm making a new batch without any essential oils is because I have a daughter who has sensitive skin, and it's burning her, the one I made with the essential oils. So we're going to try making it without essential oils, just plain old magnesium spray, and we're going to see if that does okay. If it does, then it was definitely the essential oils. If it doesn't, then we need to dilute it a little bit. So if you do make it and you see that it won't stop burning, maybe it's really tingling. Let me turn this down really quickly. That little pot, I had to turn that down a little bit. It's boiling out the sides there. So it may tingle at first, like I said, but if it continues to tingle, then, or if it burns your skin, then you may need to dilute it with more water. So maybe start with like a half a cup of magnesium with 3/4 cup of water, see how that does. And then maybe if that is still burning, try a cup of water and just kind of keep moving up until you find, you know, the dilution that works for your skin, because everybody is a little bit different. We know that we should get all of our minerals probably from food. We should not really have to supplement, but that unfortunately is kind of the way that we have to do things sometimes. So here are some foods that actually contain magnesium before we get into the recipe. Spinach, charred pumpkin seeds, yogurt actually contains magnesium, so do almonds, black beans, bananas, avocados, figs, and dark chocolate. Now, some of those I am totally on board with. Actually, most of those I could eat. Some of those have to be with other foods for sure, like black beans, but I can eat all those. So that sounds good to me. But it's just a really good way to supplement your diet and get you some magnesium is to eat those foods. But of course, to make this really super simple magnesium spray and lotion. So let me quit talking and let's get to making. So first thing we're going to do is put this Shea in the last container I have here, and that is going to melt down, and then we're going to add the other two items and get those good and melted as well. Alright, we've got the Shea in here, so making sure that's going to melt a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and get the coconut oil. The coconut oil, I don't know if this will, oh, there goes some of it. I'll scrape the rest out. So we're going to melt these down as well. And then we're going to put our beeswax pellets in there. So we're just going to let all this melt down, and then we will mix up the oil, or actually the magnesium. It's called oil, but it's really not oil. Next up is 3 tablespoons of our boiled water. So we're just going to put 3 tablespoons, hopefully, of water in here, and then we're going to pour it into our magnesium flakes. Alright, let's see if I can do this. Alright, not too bad. So we're just going to pour that right in there, and then you can see I'm melting down. So we're just going to stir that up a little bit. Okay, you can see just the time it took me to go get that spoon, which wasn't very long. You can see they're already melting, and this is going to form our magnesium oil, is what they call it. It's not really oil. And this is going to be similar when we make our magnesium spray, but our magnesium spray will be a lot more diluted than this. Alright, let's go check on our oils and see how they're melting. I want to keep an eye on our oils and kind of give them a little bit of a stir to make sure that they're melting, and so we can get those incorporated. Melting really nicely. Break those up a little bit. The beeswax will probably, well, it may not be the last. That Shea is kind of thick. That is a pretty thick oil. We are about done. There were a few little beeswax pastils or pellets, but I think we're pretty good. So we're going to move this to the jar that I set over here. Alright, so the plan is to pour this in here because we are going to use an immersion blender for this project. And I'm also going to have to use this pot to go ahead and get this melted all the way down, because I think you were supposed to use a microwave, and we do not have a microwave. Whoop. So I have to get those melted down the rest of the way in there. We are going to let our oils cool for about 5 minutes, but it has already probably been a minute since I transferred this. Let that cool for a few more minutes, and then we'll pour our magnesium in there. It may solidify on contact, it may not. and then we'll just whip it with our immersion blender, and then that will be ready to go into a tin or whatever we want to put it in, and then we can do the magnesium spray. This is just about, I didn't even have to turn the heat up, it's barely on. I just needed all the little pieces of magnesium to melt. Looks like I have one little piece left. So I guess I don't really have to wait. Light, it's like blaring right there. So I guess we don't really have to wait. I do have this kettle of hot water, boiling water that I just took off of its little tray there. So I'll just measure out a half a cup, we'll stir it in, see if it melts. If it melts all the way, then we're good to go. If not, I'll just put it on the stove after we're done with the lotion. In here we do have a half a cup of magnesium flakes, just like the other. We got our measuring cup here. Let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna try to do this and see if we can get the right amount. Got these old measuring cups. Whoop, I did go a little bit over. Got these old measuring cups, and some of the lines are off of them. Okay, that's good. Isn't that cool? It just like melts it. So I'll get my spoon and we'll get that stirred up a little bit. And about 1.5 minutes on the other. Letting those oils cool down a little bit. Now I will store this in a mason jar with lid. I will label it and keep it that way. And that worked out pretty good. Those are almost completely dissolved. Kettle comes in handy for more than just tea. Alright, so this is ready to go in a jar. So let's go ahead and go get that while we're waiting on our timer. The poor pantry is a mess. Like, I have a lot of food and stuff in here, but it really needs to be moved. A few things in here. It really needs to be organized a little bit better. Oh, I got the jar, but I forgot the lid. Let's grab a lid and see if I can. Oh, there we go. Found one. All right. This was a non-finished room of the house, and I don't even know why we added this on at the time. I can't even remember. I think I just decided we might need a pantry or something, so we did it, and then decided to do all this, and it's just kind of like been a little bit at a time, but this over here that we got, I know you saw this in one of my other videos, I really want to put some of my canned goods over here that need to be used. Timer. Perfect timing. I do want to move some of our food over there out of the pantry because I think if I see it, I will use it, and so will everybody else. So, that's a thought. Let's go ahead and get this done first. I think I'm going to pour it in here first. Actually, yeah, that worked out good. And then transfer to the jar. Perfect. Alright, put the lid on it, and then I will label this with what it is and put this on the shelf with the other. Sometimes just write on the jar if I can see it, so I just put plain magnesium spray and I put the date on it. So that way you know, it's kind of cloudy, so I hope I wouldn't think it was just water, but I'm also doing tinctures and stuff, so now I know it's not like vodka or something like that, which I would think I could tell the difference in the smell, but this will go on the shelf, that way I know what it is. Always label stuff, just always do it. Right, forgot to turn that off. So our magnesium is ready. I guess I should have probably let that cool down a little bit, huh? We might do that. Think about that. Let's go ahead and clean up some of our mess. We'll go ahead and do that before we mix that together. This is our coffee bar area that we did. I put the wallpaper sticky stuff on there, and we did all this. This has been wonderful. A drink fridge. Right now it has kombucha in it. It usually houses raw milk, but as Annabelle is not here and she is dry, I do not have any of that. So it is housing kombucha and cold coffee right now. So I'm gonna put the magnesium up here, like this one here. I do have magnesium spray number 1, and so now I need to probably put what I put in that, like the essential oils, right on that. Let's see what else we need to clean up here. Let's go ahead and get this stuff put in the sink. You see some of our garden goodies over here that I have not done anything with yet. I think I got everything put away. So we're gonna go ahead and pour the magnesium oil in here, because you can see our oils, they are starting to cool down. So let's go ahead and pour our magnesium in there and we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. Okay, well, it definitely didn't solidify, so I'm wondering if the magnesium spray oil was supposed to be cooler. I don't know. All right, well, let's see. All right, so this could be a failed attempt. I don't know, we'll wait and see, because it is still fairly warm. So I think I'm gonna let it cool, because you can see it's solidifying a little bit above. So I think that the magnesium oil was too warm. Thought is that everything was too hot and it's still too liquidy and it's not gonna whip up. So I think I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit more, and or even put it maybe in like a an ice bath and then whip it and see if that will maybe help. The oils were definitely too hot. So I'm going to show you what I did, and they incorporated a lot better, and I think as it cools down more it will stay together. Like, I think it emulsified, so it should stay and not separate. We hope. I did end up putting it in an ice bath. I just set it down in there and mixed it up, let it cool down a little bit, and then mix it up some more. So you can see it's much more like a lotion. It doesn't just run off like it was earlier. So I think once this cools, because it is still a tad warm, I think once it cools to room temperature, it will solidify some more. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in the containers. That way I'm not scraping it out of here. All right, so I did have a couple of these 2-ounce tins left, but then I have these jars, so we're gonna see if it'll fit in there. I'm out of my 4-ounce jars, so we're just gonna fill these up. Now you could add a scent to this. You could infuse herbs into this as well when you were heating the oils on the stove for the herbs. Now the essential oils you want to mix when everything is cool. Alright, so I got both of those tins filled. Let's see how much. I don't know if I can get it all in this one without making a huge mess. There we go. That is cooling down and gonna make a nice smooth lotion. Okay, it barely fit in there, so that's pretty full. So these are what, 4-ounce jars? These are 2, so it made about 8 ounces of lotion. So I'm pretty excited. I mean, it smells like oil. It doesn't really have like a specific scent because we didn't add anything to it. So this will be just a plain magnesium lotion. It's really smooth, and I'm excited to try this one. Let's just see what it looks like. All right, so here's our tin. So let these cool, and I'm just gonna kind of place the lid over them. I'm not gonna completely put it on, just so we don't get bugs or anything in it. And then I'll go get a lid for this one. And my hands are kind of greasy, but we do have these, the lids put on this one. The other 2 lids are kind of on that one. I should probably open this one up a little bit. We definitely want to label these because these are just plain magnesium lotion, and we want to use these within 2 months. So this will stay shelf stable for a couple months. Now, if you want it to harden up more, you could put it in the fridge. It will just probably get really, really hard if it gets cool. So, crazy dogs. So this magnesium lotion is a little greasy because it does have that shea butter and that coconut oil in there. So you could use a different oil if you would like to, or if you don't want to make the lotion, or maybe this intimidates you a little bit, try the magnesium spray. Super easy, 2 ingredients. Definitely give it a try. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you've made lotion or the spray, maybe what you like to add to it. Share that in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.